Sat on the armchair there. Hello everyone, how are you? This video is going to be slightly different from the regular format because I'm going to try and do it in as fewer takes as possible, and this is to try and improve my presenting style, and it's also because I kind of don't have much time to edit this video given the amount of other projects I've got on the go. So this one's going to be a bit of a quickie. Now you might remember a while back I reviewed a book called 2023 by the Justified Ancients of Mu. In fact, I have it here. Yes, I have not thrown it away. It is still on my bookshelf. I'm not sure why. But basically, I said it was a unique read, but on the whole, really quite a broken read. And since then, I have really been looking for a book just as weird as that one. I did not think I would find a book as weird as that. I'm still not sure I have, but I have certainly found a book that comes close. But not only that, it is a book which is written much better than 2023. So this book review will actually be something of a recommendation, something which I gave 2023 only to very specific viewers who might actually enjoy getting confused. This book, the book that I am about to review for you, is slightly more coherent. However, you would not know that from the title. Horse Destroys the Universe. Now, if you're like me, you will read that title and a certain morbid curiosity will draw you towards the book. You're not expecting very good content, but you're at least expecting unique or original content. So imagine my surprise when this was actually competently written. It's by the YouTube creator Cyriac, and if you haven't watched his videos, they are traumatizing. Think Malfunction is probably the video of his that will give you the best sort of idea of what he's about, really. He's a little weird, and on his crowdfunder page, I forget whether it was Patreon or GoFundMe, something like that, one of those websites, he said that he wrote this book in much the same way that he edits, i.e. he made it up as he went along. I actually think he's doing himself quite a big disservice here. This book did feel planned out, and it actually ran smoothly, although I definitely do appreciate the comparison. Once you've watched a few of his videos, the content, especially in the second half of this book, will feel very familiar. However, the first half of this book was written in rather a subdued way. It doesn't actually feel that weird, and then all of a sudden, about a third to a half of the way through, it explodes. Now, let's get into the plot. Now, the first big surprise of reading this book is that the narrator is actually the horse who destroys the universe. So that came as a bit of a surprise, the fact that I was being narrated to by a horse. I haven't read many books where the first person narrator is an animal, and the ones that I have read where the narrator is a first person animal have been god awful. So I was very happy to find out that this was not talking down at the viewer. It wasn't written in the style of the way the animal might think. This is a very clever horse. And it's a clever horse because it is experimented on. In the very first few chapters, this horse gets one hell of a great big boost to its brain power. And that's because two scientists, Betty and Tim, wonderful names, have decided that they want to make an animal more intelligent to see what the results are. However, it works a bit too well, and this is where we get into really the genius of this book. For the first third of it, the horse actually pretends to be dumber than it is. It deliberately gets their thought experiments wrong, it deliberately acts like any other horse, and it doesn't seem especially interested in these grand sort of experiments that the two scientists are inflicting on it. However, the horse is tricking them. It knows more than they think. In fact, without spoiling too much, they suddenly realised just how clever this thing is. And, well, the title already tells you that this horse gains a fair bit of power throughout the course of this book, and it really does get just chaotic. About a half of the way through, you enter the high philosophy realm. The mucking around in a barnyard is sort of only the first third of the book. From there onwards, you get this super genius horse that can have conversations with different parts of its personality and is basically running the entire world. And that's when you enter peak Syriac territory. It just makes no sense. However, because this book plays really quite well to its own rules, i.e. the whole thing is ridiculous, you end up really investing into the weirdness, or at least I did. I didn't find myself questioning much because it was all so outlandish that there was nothing to cling on to. Compare that to 2023, which was outlandish all the way through, but it had moments of peak stupidity, and it really made no effort to be coherent. There are a bajillion different characters in this book, whereas in this book, there's a very clearly defined main character. Everyone else is just sort of a side character or a supervillain. So I would argue this book has a lot more to be said for it. I really appreciate the high philosophy in sort of the second half when it really explores the human condition and how this horse is able to run the entire world behind closed doors. Can't believe I just said that sentence. Yes, a horse runs the world behind closed doors in this book. It basically becomes Skynet, this horse, and that is really entertaining because you've got this sort of massive genius, AI extraordinary mind, and all it wants to do is chill in a meadow with its mates. That's really funny, and really everything that you see in this book sort of plays off that. You have other people buffing themselves up with extra intelligence. You've got the poor guy who has to pretend he's the one running the world when in reality he's taking his instructions from a bloody horse. And you've got this really, really biting satire about society and just how thick humans can be. And that was much appreciated. But I also love the first third of this book, which is a lot simpler. You've just got a horse and two scientists, and that horse is trying to fool the scientists. It's a perfect sort of little bit of triangle politics going on there, and that's really entertaining. I would definitely recommend Horse Destroys the Universe above 2023. That's not to discredit 2023. I really enjoyed it, but you kind of have to laugh at it. It's sort of halfway between a sick parody and like The Room. I don't actually know whether it's being this weird on purpose or whether it's just a train wreck. This book you can kind of see a bit more clearly what it wants to be. And I can definitely recommend it. It was a very, very funny read. I laughed out loud an awful lot reading Horse Destroys the Universe, more so than reading 2023, and more so than any other book. I can't remember the last time a book made me laugh this much, but it does also have some quite serious socio-political points that it's making. So you get this really weird contrast between the stupid and the kind of philosophical. And you could argue they meld together in a bit of a weird way, but I think they merge together perfectly. The high philosophy bits, where it does get a bit serious, just makes it all the more funny when you're hit with this really stupid paragraph or this really stupid scene. The comedy and the drama are balanced well, and I mean, it is mostly a comedy. Like, you can't take a book seriously when its title is that. And this book does not take itself seriously at all. And that's exactly why it can play around with these deep points and not seem patronising. The thing's a joke. It's like Life of Brian. A serious film that was critiquing Christianity like that would have come across as a bit pretentious. But because it's Monty Python, it's hilarious. Same thing with Horse Destroys the Universe. All in all, I can definitely give it a recommendation, and thank you, Syriac. The book actually comes out today, Thursday, the 22nd. However, I paid to have this book written, so my name is actually in this book. I've read it already before, like everyone else, and it was a really, really good decision. I'm glad I spent my birthday money on Horse Destroys the Universe. Well done, Syriac. You done good. As for what else is coming up on this channel, I actually have 2 more videos that are completely shot. I just have to edit them. One of them won't be released for a while. The other one I'll hopefully have out quite soon. And I've got a really big video lined up for the end of the year to sort of sign off the 2010s, if you will. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, I hope you have a very good time. I'll probably read another stupid book in the future that I can review. I hope to make weird book reviews something of a series. And until then, have a good one.